Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena, we are taking a look at updates and upgrades to Esper Midrange with War of the Spark. Esper Midrange was an exciting deck at the beginning of the Ravnica Allegiance format. Wyatt Darby made the top 4 of the first SCG tournament with Ravnica Allegiance playing the deck, and people were excited about a new archetype that played kind of an in-between hybrid game using creatures as win cons in Esper, but still had controlling elements. And unfortunately that deck fell off and was not a very serious competitor for most of the format, but people have been saying that it gets a lot from Ravnica Allegiance, or from War of the Spark. I'm sorry. It did get a lot from Ravnica Allegiance, but the new cards from War of the Spark, they're saying may have pushed the deck over the top. And this list was played by Brian Bronduin, former world champion from 2016, to a 10th place finish at the recent SCG Open. And it is a very interesting take on the deck with a lot of new cards. Some of the new cards are the Planeswalker package. There's 3 Teferi Hero of Dominaria, which wasn't always in this deck, but there's also 2 Liliana Dreadhorde Generals, a Sorin Vengeful Bloodlord, and 3 Teferi Time Ravelers. These sticky threat Planeswalkers are very strong against Esper control, while also giving headaches to mid-range decks and sometimes to mono-red. Now, the rest of the deck has some other neat features, like 2 Enter the God Eternals, great against mono-red. D-Spark, 2 of those. Exile target permanent with converted mana cost 4 or greater. A great cheap multicolored removal spell to go with Hero of Precinct 1. And an exile effect to get rid of cards like Rekindling Phoenix and Arclight Phoenix. Dovin's Veto. Countering a spell, a non-creature spell, and Dovin's Veto can't be countered. Literally like a last word effect, where when you counter that Teferi, it stays countered. The end. Bye-bye. And then we also have 4 Mortifies, which is almost certainly a nod to getting rid of Wilderness Reclamation and the Simic Nexus players. So, the rest of the deck is what you've come to know: Hero Precinct 1, Thought Erasure, Thief of Sanity, and Hostage Taker, rounding out the rest of the build. Moving into the sideboard, we have 2 Duress for the control matchups, and 2 Dovin's Veto, and 2 Davriel Rogue Shadow Mage, also for the control-ish matchups. Moment of Craving for the aggro. Deputy of Detention is probably mostly against green-type decks, but could be against aggro. Very good against tokens as well. Unmoored Ego. Goodbye Nexus, goodbye Teferi. Basilica Bellhaunt for the red matchups, and 2 Time Wipes for the go-wide creature matchups, like green-white tokens, like Gruul, like mono-green, things like that. A quick word on Best of 3 and MTG Arena. Back when MTG Arena came out with their ladder and had things like the Mythic Invitational, they really tried to find a way to push Best of 1. Now, Wizards could argue that the players pushed Best of 1 first, since 97% of games completed on Arena were at the time Best of 1. They haven't said what's happened to those numbers since. And the first Mythic ladder was Best of 1. The first Mythic Invitational was Duo Standard, which is a weird form of Best of 1. So, a lot of my content, whether competitive or not, is focused on Best of 1, because I felt this was the direction Wizards wanted to go. I'm not saying that whether that's right or wrong. I simply was trying to follow the right flow. But it seems that Wizards has completely changed their tone on this. The MPL new playoff, the new whatever they call it, the Wizards Pro League structure where they all play against each other for qualifications and stuff, that is now a best of 3 with sideboard format. So is the Mythic Invitational Qualifier and the first Arena Mythic Invitational. All have been said to be best of 3 with sideboard. So, when we're reviewing competitive decks, it makes sense that we review them in the best of 3 format. If you want a best of 1 version of the deck, it's certainly very easy to do. You could completely cut the sideboard and play this as is, or you could edit some of the more narrow cards in the deck, remove them, and replace them with more versatile cards. Examples of this are some of the more narrow cards here are Hostage Taker, because it requires the opponent to have a creature or artifact to be very effective, and Enter the God Eternals, which hits only creatures the opponents control. You could replace these with cards that hit more varied things, like Vraska's Contempt, something of that nature. Just as an example. But we're going to, in the competitive videos, such as this one, reviewing meta decks, we're going to work on our best of 3 game. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's go play. Ooh. Well, we go first, but our lands don't enter right. So it's a slow hand with a nice curve that's delayed by a turn. It's like being on the draw with one less card. But I think I have to keep it. We still do have Thought Erasure into Thief of Sanity, after all. We start off our diamond shenanigans here. I just ranked up to diamond at the end of my last stream, so we're on the bubble. We shouldn't be able to rank down. So there's nothing to lose here today, my friends. Play fast and loose. Our opponent opens with the plains into a swamp. Oh, tell me it's vampires. It's Knight of Grace. I don't know what made me say, tell me it's vampires. I really have no idea where that came from. So right away here we have a choice. Hero Precinct 1, Thought Erasure. And I like Thought Erasure to try to free up a Thief of Sanity right away. There's also the chance our opponent has a History of Benalia and we need to slow that down immediately. And there is the History of Benalia. There's also an Ajani and a Basilica Bellhaunt, two very annoying cards, but without a question, I'm going to take the History of Benalia here and throw off my opponent's sweet curve. I'll put this in the bin because I already have another one. I know you could say, but what if your thief gets killed? I don't think I'm going to have time to deploy 2 Thieves of Sanity because I'm already behind on the board. So, there we go. More black or more blue? I think I'll go with more black. Few decisions early in the game here. Another problem is playing the thief is going to pump the Knight of Grace, which will actually be an annoying thing to deal with. But let's get the thief going right away, as if we can start hitting and taking cards, that's a big gain. Now I'm curious if the opponent plays a Ajani or the Bellhaunt. They play the Bellhaunt. So what's the discard? I think at this phase, it's probably to ferry the Time Raveler. Playing it as a tempo play when we're already so behind on tempo seems bad. What seems good to me is Hero Precinct 1, Dovin's Veto the Ajani, and Sorin Vengeful Bloodlord to gain lifelink. So, to ferry Time Raveler, hit the bench. On the bright side, our Thief of Sanity is alive and can get in there. What do we get? Give me something good. Oath of Kaya seems very good. With all our Planeswalkers, I like a History of Benalia as much as the next guy, but staying alive with Oath of Kaya sounds wonderful. But here's the play. I think that we go with the Hero Dovin's Veto line. The Ajani is a big problem, and we don't want none of that. Now let's see if the opponent reads the Dovin's Veto. If they're really staying up on the meta, they might see it coming. Deploying another creature here would be a very solid line for them, but no, it is the Ajani. So let's hit that Dovin's Veto button. No thank you. The opponent can definitely charge in here, and I could block, or I could drop the Sorin and give these lifelink to crack back. I do have a Thief of Sanity to get out of the graveyard with the Sorin, so it might be good enough just to gain the life, get the Thief of Sanity. So I'm not going to block. Ooh, another hero though. So I could play the other hero and the Oath, which is pretty sick. Now that will make 2 1/1s that can block if I just want to chump away. The Oath though can't target the Knight of Grace, which is a problem. Maybe going face is the right way to do it. Let's swing in first. Take the race to the opponent, get our Thief of Sanity going. What do we take? Knight of Grace seems really good. Yeah, they have 2 white cards. Tithe Takers, nah. Gideon Blackblade, of course, is pretty awesome as a Planeswalker, but when you're behind, he's just not that solid. I like the Knight of Grace. Okay, so Hero Precinct 1 and Oath of Kaya going face, or Knight of Grace, Oath of Kaya going face. I think Hero Precinct 1 make 2 tokens with Oath of Kaya is just better. So face, remember this has hexproof from black, so is not something I can pick off here. But that really swings the race. The opponent keeps attacking. With a Sorin, I have no problem taking the damage. Let's see what their big play is. A Lyra would be problematic. Another Knight of Grace, okay. Ooh, a Hostage Taker for that. So take you hostage, we get in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we can't replay this card now. We could simply get in with the Thief of Sanity. I like playing the Sorin, ticking it up, and getting in with the lifelink Thief of Sanity. The opponent's going to have to make their way through all these tokens. We could also get in with the extra tokens for more lifelink power. Hell, we could get in with all the Precinct 1s. They've kind of done their job. They've definitely done their job. We don't need to... Yeah, we can attack with this. We can attack with team. The opponent will pick off a hero, but will gain so much life. And will deal so much damage. And we've got a choice. Do I want another expensive card like Vraska's Contempt when a cast down might just do enough? I think I want the cast down. I think I want a cheaper card to go with my more expensive options. And we can get back that Hero Precinct one or that Thief of Sanity. I like the Thief of Sanity for the flying here, as it can probably put the game away quickly.
I require your body, not your soul.
Sorin requires your body, not your soul. That sounds somehow creepy sexy. I don't know. That's weird. That stuff's weird. All right. Game 2. Our opponent on White-Black Knights. Makes me wonder what's actually good against them. They, being white, having the hexproof from white and hexproof from black, it's hard to tell what will hit. I think that Time Wipe is a good one. The Dovin's Veto worked out, but I don't know how many of those I really want. Maybe I want to keep it exactly as is. Also, D-Spark, I'm really not sure. I think I can trim both of those, because I'm not sure that we'll get the targets when we need them for those cards to line up perfectly. And on the draw, that might be pretty tough. Now, I could also run Moment of Craving to try to stay alive against History of Benalia. I guess Deputy of Detention is pretty solid against History of Benalia specifically. On the draw, I often find cards like Thief of Sanity really slow, too. This is pretty tough sideboarding. I'm not quite sure what the opponent's sideboard is going to be like. And I'm thinking of Seraph of the Scales as a card that's in the deck a lot, so maybe D-Spark definitely belongs. Veto can certainly work against History of Benalia as well. The opponent saw it. Maybe they'll play around it more this game, so that can justify it being on the bench. The Teferis, maybe I just need to trim some top end since I brought in Time Wipe, and Teferi might be a bit slow and hard to protect. I do feel like the Liliana Dreadhorde General and Teferis can be really good in this matchup, though. I'm just worried about living that long. I think what I should do is trim Thief of Sanity, as it can be pretty slow on the draw. Alright, that's my deck. It's a little bit expensive. Hopefully we can buy the time we need to get to our stronger Planeswalkers. I think they'll be able to overpower this matchup pretty well. 5 land, well, we'll hit our land drops. And we have Hero into Deputy. I'll lead on a Fountain because I have a basic swamp I can play, as well as a Drowned Catacomb if I draw Thought Erasure. Knight of Grace is here. Uh-oh. Too many land, that's for sure. Our first 2 draw steps are also land after keeping a 5-lander. Who knew this could happen? Shock yourself. Oathakaya. Bang bang. Alright. Do I Oath? Do I Deputy a Knight of Grace? I feel like I may as well. If the opponent has another removal spell, I may as well make them spend their time casting that instead of pacing out more threats. At this point, the Flood is so real that the top of our deck has to start cooperating. So I may as well just buy time. Make the opponent deal. Oh yeah, we are doing it, folks. I was worried about hitting all my land drops for my expensive cards. I should have been worried about drawing any actual cards. The Knight is here. I can get rid of it. Hostage Taker isn't, I don't know, is that really the best? I kind of feel like I should give another turn to my Hostage Taker. The situation isn't going to get dramatically better though for it. But I do feel like I need to actually get something from the opponent because I'm so behind in cards. So I'm going to play this tapped, and I'm going to be a little hostage taker patient and hope that we get something I can actually keep. Oh no. Oh no, now I need that deputy back. Time wipe would be the perfect draw. Enter the God Eternals is not terrible. Let's definitely get one used, because we're about to take a huge freaking hit if we don't. I don't see... I guess the opponent has a Johnny, so they can get creatures out of their graveyard, so we do need to target ourselves with the God Eternals. We see a Thief, a Sorin, and 2 more land hit the bin. Wow. Here come Benalias. So one good question is, do we block here with the 4/4? The opponent is going to have 2 attacks over 2 turns with the Knights. It feels like trading off is pretty smart, then playing a Hostage Taker to take out another one reduces the amount of damage we have to take considerably. At the same time, I feel like I'm so behind in cards that giving up material is bad. So like if we go to 11 here, and then next turn we play one of these, and we go to 3, like, I just can't really do it, so we do have to make some chump blocks. Or not chump blocks, but some trades. We can't wait for the Knights to get swept up somehow or get outclassed. Not with double history going on. What I really would like my opponent to do is play a Knight of Malice. That would be ideal, because the Knight of Malice would hold back the History of Benalia's next turn if I stole it with Hostage Taker. Ooh. That's frustrating. You draw a Teferi. Well, we're finding ways to stay in the game. I guess I'll take the Knight of Grace. It can also hold back those Knights. It's not that bad. I just would have preferred the Hexproof from white. But I don't think it matters if my opponent's really focused on Oath of Kaya. Oh yeah, I can't target this with the Hostage Taker. That's another problem. That's the reason it needed to be a Knight of Malice. I knew why I said what I said when I said it. Alright, that's 9 points of brutal damage. Gideon Blackblade? Ugh.
Lead the charge into darkness.
The beating is real.
I will lend you my strength.
Alright, no chump blocking here. We need the body to hold off the 2/2 next turn or chump the Gideon. Another land. Why can't I play you? You see this? It's not lit up. It's weird. I can play you.
This isn't a fight you can win.
So I could bounce the Knight of Grace. I could also eliminate the 2/2. The 2/2 at least right now is outclassed by the Hostage Taker though. So we'll target here.
Here goes nothing.
The opponent is stuck on 3 lands, but my problem has been exactly the opposite. Lands for days. We had 12 of them in our top 19 cards. A little outside of the average.
Your light will cleave the darkness.
So giving this indestructible, kind of annoying. Let's see if the opponent attacks my face with Gideon or not. I'm kind of hoping they attack Teferi. Oh, okay, that works. And that will be lethal if they attack the face. So our opponent also bringing D-Spark, multiple Oaths of Kaya, multiple Histories of Benalia. Simply too strong. So on the play, I like Thief coming back in. We saw the Gideon Blackblade. I don't know if that's really something I can veto, though. I still don't love Moment of Craving, although it can hit the White Knight. And it can hit the Knight tokens, but I don't think that's really the way to win the game. Maybe the Time Raveler just isn't good enough in this matchup. I like his tempo play, but maybe it's just not what you're looking for. Yeah, we have a lot of 3s anyway, especially with the Deputy coming in. We kind of wrecked our curve. Now we have a space for an extra card. The Dovin's Veto was solid on the play last time. Moment of Craving might be the better call to take out the Black Knights. But we have Hostage Taker trying to do that job already, as that's like the best thing we could snipe. So killing them isn't perfectly ideal. Maybe we'll get one more veto in there to protect our thieves now that we're on the play. And let's go. Jesus. Now we get one land? Alright. Alright, Jesus. Thou hath forsaken me. This follow-up's not bad, and I'll keep the Mortify. The opponent has Oath of Kaya. Seems to be the way that they mess with my heroes. But let's get the heroes down and then get into Thought Erasing since I don't have a thief yet. I want to get the payoff for these heroes and put it on the opponent to kill them. I'm sure they're using 1-for-1 removal, so I've got some time. Double hero. A bunch of tokens can hopefully buy a lot of time against their deck, which seems to be all ground forces. We haven't seen Seraph of the Scales and things like that yet. There's the Oath of Kaya. Here's the Knight of Grace attack. Alright, let's erase your thoughts. We need to hit our land drop, so that's what we're looking for on top of the deck. Another, whoa, Removal City. That's not good. Look at all the ways our planeswalkers are going to get wrecked. This is a tough choice. Nothing's going to thread the needle, and we don't have anything right now to remove that Knight of Grace. I feel like the D-Spark might be the most effective thing against the Teferi, but at least we get to draw a card off the Teferi. As for what they can play right now, I guess the Oath of Kaya gaining them more life is a problem. So I'll take that. Another Thought Eraser on top. I guess I could pick apart the hand more. I'm going to lose my creature, but this could help us hit another land drop and pick apart that hand, so I'll try it. May as well attack with the hero that's about to die. What we really need is for our opponent not to draw more threats and buy more time to get to more land. Overpowering this hand is going to be really hard. We're in for a battle. Straight up Mortify, yep. I'm going to try to keep my 1/1 around for a little while. It would be great if it could, like, chump for a Teferi. And let's get rid of the Contempt, because it can take out the Enter the God Eternals creature. And there's a land. We're going to need a few of those in a row. And it would be nice if the opponent bricked in the meantime. Alright. I should have attacked if I wasn't going to block. Oh well. Mistakes. Bellhaunt? Ouch. Well, Teferi, I guess you've got to go since you're covered by the D-Spark in my opponent's hand, and God Eternals is necessary to turn the game around. Let's mortify the Bellhaunt, though we don't have to yet. We can say go. Oh, we can't God Eternals the Knight of Grace either. That's a problem. I still think that we go for this now, though, and don't block with the token. We can always God Eternals our own token if we keep it around. I'm hoping, yeah, there's something we can kill. All right, land. Did it. In the game. Target ourselves. Again, targeting ourselves because we saw a Johnny in game 1. A Johnny can take creatures out of their graveyard. They could also have Sorin in this deck, which reanimates as well. We draw our own D-Spark. Tight. So can we really attack in for 4 to get attacked back for 3 when we're at 12 and our opponent is at 23? I don't think so. Let's stall and hope to draw some more Teferis. They were lost along the way. Mortify. Still can't deal with Knight of Grace. Staring match continue. All right. Third game is going to be a tense one. We've managed to stabilize. There's a time wipe. That could be amazing later. History of Benalia is the play. So we're going to have some interesting choices. We can mortify that Benalia. Or we could try to set up a time wipe to kill the knights. I like mortifying the Benalia a lot better. I would like the time wipe to hit more things, and I think it can if we give ourselves the time to use it. another land, but I'm going to hold it for a Basilica Bellhaunt. I need something to discard to protect my useful spells if the opponent draws another Bellhaunt. Gideon Blackblade. Crap. That is such a beating. Despark doesn't do it. Time Wipe doesn't do it. I can attack the Gideon. If the opponent double blocks it, I do kill both of their creatures. So I think that's the line. The problem is the counterattack. I wonder what the opponent will do here. Let's find out. Kai's Oath Drain is obnoxious. They take it. So now they just need a way to move the token and they could win the game, but I think I have to take the risk that that happens. Let's see if they find it. Oh wait, they have 9 damage, not 10, but remember, attacking a Planeswalker still costs me life with Oath of Kaya.
Share in my life.
Indestructible. Interesting choice. I wonder why. Alright, block here. That Vigilance token, man. Ooh, Kaya's Wrath? That's why the Indestructible. And that draw won't do it. We can Time Wipe away the Knight of Grace, and then Gideon gets us to 1. Oof. Ugh. I should have played the white source to have Despark available. We'll see if that bites me. Freaking Gideon, man. And Gideon Knights Kaya's Wrath. Crazy. And off the top, all land. Well, that was a good match. Close one. Close one. And the opponent's now thinking I have settled the wreckage. I don't. Duress off the top. Okay. Interesting choices in sideboarding, but it certainly worked out for my opponent. Although I'd say that we pretty much flooded at the wrong time for 2 games. It's too bad I had to discard that Teferi earlier. Even against Despark, it would have gotten deeper in the deck. Another hand without white mana. Weird. And on the draw, super slow. I'll try it, but we might get run over. That's best of 3, though. Best of 3, you don't know what you're playing against, but you play game 1 basically for information. The keeps are a lot different than in best of 1 with the hand smoothing algorithm. You can't expect your mulligans to go as well as they do in best of 1. Here we go. There are 2 kinds of mono red players. Fast mono red players and slow mono red players. You can guess which one I like. Hey, Steam Vents, cool. I'm glad to be wrong. I like being wrong. This is good. And are you still thinking about shocking the face? I mean, if you want to, have at it. It actually feels like full control from the click-through. Feels like we might have a full controller. We'll know if they cast a spell. Alright. So they've represented Shock so hard, this Thief of Sanity is basically a dead thing. I wonder if I should run it out into a Shock, though. Yeah. And like I said, it could be a full control type bluffing situation where the opponent's just clicking through everything. It feels for sure like my Thief will get shocked, but that's not going to change. Waiting for a land and to play the hero with it doesn't feel right to me. Unfortunately, that was my only playable card and now it's gone. It's kind of a problem. Alright, 4 mana Arclight Phoenix shows our opponent's hand is a little wonky. We could hostage take it and hope the opponent can't remove the hostage taker, but we could also play Teferi, draw a card with it, make the opponent replay it for 4 mana, which is actually a lot, and it's one of the best things to target with Teferi in this deck. And if the opponent attacks the Teferi, then it kind of saves me some damage. We get deeper in our deck. I'm not sure what to think of the matchup with Phoenix. I don't feel like I have enough exile. I know another D-Spark will definitely join my team. I just don't... I don't know. Like, in my head, it's hard to play this one out.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
I don't have big creatures like Lyra or anything of that nature. Let's see if we can draw some shocks out of our opponent. We'll play the Hero of Precinct 1. Pay 2 life, and now you see that the things are moving fast, so our opponent may not have another shock. So let's go for a Thief of Sanity. Make our opponent find the removal. If the opponent holds back to block with an Arclight, we can bounce it with Teferi or grab it with Hostage Taker. The opponent goes with Lava Coil. We didn't... I wasn't like certain they'd have no removal. And here's an Augur of Bolas. So the Phoenix deck does have some sort of changes going on with it. Augur of Bolas being one of them. Less Crackling Drakes is a version that we've seen going around online here and there. Shahar Shenhar, 2-time world champion, played on his stream yesterday with this version of Phoenix without Crackling Drakes. So that might be something that we see lurking. I'd love to take something hostage. I'd just also like to cast it since I don't expect my Hostage Taker to live very long. So let's keep the time raveling. Maybe we'll draw into more lands.
Right on schedule.
Bounce you.
Here we go.
That's a good draw. Can take out the Bolas and gain some life back. I don't really want to crash in here just to get in 2 damage. I think that we can build up our token army a bit better. Curious how Liliana will do in the matchup. It does seem like the Phoenix deck can put some birds together and fly right over her. Alright, our opponent drops the Arclight in the graveyard, so now they plan to play the spells to get it back. No? No, they're just going to 4 mana up for this bird. Where's it going to go? Yep, Teferi's still taking some for the team.
Now what?
There's another land. We could shock and play Liliana, but I think Liliana would die rather quickly. There's another Arclight down here after all. But our face is also a big concern. I think that enter the God Eternals and crash in with the heroes and make the 4/4 and gain the life is the real answer. It's the real prize here. Please no Spell Pierce. Now we can bring the fight to our opponent so that now that they don't have a blocker in the way. And if they put out more Augurs or something like that, we can take them hostage. Hopefully swing this race. There is Augur. Augur whiffs. Love it. Although that does mean that they're now 3 cards closer to spells, whereas before they would have had to go through those lands. It's not exactly a win. It's put cards on the bottom of your deck that you didn't want to draw anyway, is how that works. Oh my goodness. The birds are here for real, and they are being aggressive. So down to 10, our opponent, if they can get back the other bird, if they hit enough draw spells in a row, they can get us to 1. I think that the play is to hostage take the Augur and slam in for 7, because then we might have lethal the next turn. It's risky. Our opponent with a perfect draw could beat us, but I think that's a 1% draw. Whereas I think that this puts the pressure back on the opponent to stop attacking. Whiffing sucks, but I guess it's fair since our opponent did. I was really hoping to pick up a D-Spark or something like that. It's a close one. How will it end? The birds keep coming. That really surprises me. Electromancer. Electromancer. Okay. We drew the land, so we can take out, we can hostage take an Electromancer, and we can mortify an Electromancer. And that's game. Opponent has it on full control mode? Yeah, they're a full control mode spammer. Alright. I mean, there's nothing to bluff. Your hand is face up, dude. And we get game 1 in a tight race with the Drake deck. So how do we combat the Drake deck after sideboard? Unmoored Ego on Arclight Phoenix can really do a number. I wonder if Niv Mizzet is coming in. I don't really like Duress against this deck. It just ends up taking a pretty weak card. Veto I also don't see. Deputy of Detention could be nice as another way to keep the Phoenix exiled. Despark is a card we really want to draw. Moment Craving is good against both Arclight Phoenix stalling and against Goblin Electromancer. So what's not good? It's really hard to protect Planeswalkers. I don't see how Liliana quite fits in. Teferi was awkward, to say the least, but could be better if the opponent's bringing in Negate. Though I doubt they are, to be honest. If they are, our creatures are pretty solid. Enter the God Eternal certainly bought some time, but it's expensive, and it definitely plays into Negate. Teferis are hard to protect, though. I think that the worst cards are probably the Planeswalkers, and especially on the draw, I want to lower my curve and just be able to deal with their stuff. Although it's really hard to take out Liliana. But let's try it without them. It did seem like the Planeswalkers are going to be really hard to protect against the Phoenix deck. Although, it's a great way to deal with a Niv Mizzet, isn't it? If the opponent switches to Niv. Let's instead just trim some of the other spots. Thief of Sanity is pretty meh on the draw. And Hostage Taker also can be too slow, so we'll just trim those spots and go with this. I still like having the vetoes, but they might get cut. If you can take out a Lava Coil on a crucial creature, that can be a big deal. But the vetoes might have to go. Okay. At least the 6-card mulligan is kind to us. Do I want this land? I think I bottom it. At this point, flooding out is a concern, and having more than half our cards being lands, and another shock land at that. Well, mana base is painful right now. We're probably going to take 4 damage over the next 2 turns just playing our stuff. Chart, of course, not an Electromancer. That's good. Phoenix in the graveyard already. All right. Let's go hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. Shock. Sure. Out of there. So next, I think I'm playing Teferi and plussing, and then our opponent will eventually give us something to minus Teferi upon. But in the meantime, we can build up the loyalty. Never mind. Let's see if this thief goes unanswered. It's one of the conundrums of hero and thief. You want to kill the hero, and you have to kill the thief. The opponent with a beacon bolt has the answer. Good for them. All right, let's get a Time Raveler cooking.
Let's slow this down.
If the opponent did bring in Negate, this will be really effective against it. But we don't have any threats for a while, and that's going to be one of the risks here. Saheeli. Oh boy.
If it's a challenge you want, then a challenge you'll get.
I'll protect you.
Let's leave blue mana up. See if we get away with this. I know that there's a beacon bolt, so it's not going to get very far. Thief is also kind of a problem. It fills the opponent's graveyard too, making it even more awkward. I could probably, like, this is where I really wish I had some, like, Lyras in the sideboard, some, like, massive threats. Here's Lava Coil. Let the 1/1s begin. Thought Erasure. Let's see what's cooking. There is a Crackling Drake. I have a Mortify for that. There's another Saheeli, which the opponent can't really do anything with. And there's an Arclight Phoenix, which they want in the graveyard anyway. I think it's best to leave them with another Saheeli, because right now I can't deal with this anyway, and they're short on the spells to activate it. Maybe I can get them desperate enough to play the other Saheeli just to make a 1/1. Now, if I minus this, the opponent can play the Arclight Phoenix, attack it. I can mortify the Arclight Phoenix.
I've got time.
Alright. And right now, the opponent being short on spells and having Saheeli on the board, that makes it awkward because they're playing the Arclight Phoenix doesn't make another creature. And it buys me a little more time with my boy Teferi. Ooh.
Let's try this.
I don't really want to give my opponent a Beacon Bolt to target. I want them to use it on something else, though. And that's our third Thief of Sanity after we actually cut one? That's so bizarre. Yeah, I think I just pass. I don't want to give them a target for the bolt. I want to do it on a different turn. The opponent says nice. They have nothing to play with their Saheeli. Like, that's kind of what we're going for here. I think I'll draw the extra... Should I draw the extra card? And try to get ahead here? I think so. Weird, but I think I just need to get further ahead. There's a thought erasure. Okay. Let's keep trying to set this up. I'm not loving the Time Ravelers. I wish I had regular Teferi. I think these probably should have been trimmed. Not quite doing the job for me right now. We've seen our opponents back in Crackling Drake mode.
That's more like it.
Another land-heavy draw. And these land-heavy draws are not forgiving. You have to play perfectly, and when I'm getting to know a deck, that's always a little hard. Alright. See if we can draw out the Beacon Bolt here. I could play Thief right now and make a token, but that token to me isn't as important as getting the Beacon Bolt out and possibly getting to hit with the Thief. Darn it. Whew. Well, they found their lava coil. Fortunately, the more we make them use these spells, the less likely they are to use them to get back their Arclights later. So yeah, I'm going to plus you. I'm going to lead my Thief into the Beacon Bolt. Play 1,000,000 land. Yeah, I'm regretting boarding out those Teferis. I need the raw card advantage badly. Thief down. Oh no! Does our opponent get back the birds here? Is it time? Is it? Did you get it? Is it time? They just need one more spell. They hit the nice emote like people always do when they're salty. Yeah? Okay.
Hey, that was uncalled for.
Still don't see anything like a negate, so these Teferis should definitely not be in the deck. Oh my goodness. Alright, time to minus this. Take out one of these tokens.
Don't worry, I got this.
There's a Mortify. Here's another one. Let's keep it going.
I'll protect you.
Alright. Digging, digging, digging. We got an emote spammer here, and we're locked in another game with them, most likely. Let's kill it before they draw their card, just in case they're the negate type, although we do have the Teferi, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. I don't know if Teferi is worth protecting. He doesn't seem worth protecting to me.
This is hardly my
Not now that I know the opponent does have some Crackling Drakes in the deck. Okay, Moment of Craving. More awkward answers. Did our opponent take out their Electromancers? We haven't seen any yet. It's possible. Yeah, I think there's a good chance that Electromancer became Saheeli Sublime Artificer. Okay, there's Radical Idea. The birds are coming back. Deputy of Detention would be nice. Maybe Time Wipe is good against the servos, although it doesn't get rid of the actual problem, which is Saheeli, who sat on this battlefield for a long time. So go to 11, then take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess it's better to try to kill these now. If the opponent doesn't have the spells to bring them back next turn, I buy more time this way. We make them have basically a hand that can get these back next turn, which is totally reasonable, but forcing them to have it I think is better than not. Alright, they did keep Electromancer. Deputy's here. And we'll see if the opponent can get their birds back. Land is good. Oh. Yes, please.
If I were you, good help is easy to find in war.
Let's crank out some 2/2s and try to set up to attack down this Artificer. Let's see also if the opponent can bring their birds back. If they have like a shock. Oh, not yet. Not quite yet. Ooh. Is that the play? Think so. This part's pretty automatic.
Rise.
Look at all that land in the graveyard. And we show our opponent a Dovin's Veto again. Let's cut these down. The opponent's... The emote spam is getting intense. That's how we know we're winning. That's how we know we're winning. When the emote spam gets extra salty. Alright, here comes Discovery. Let's see if the opponent can kind of rocket fuel their deck here. They kept on top. So here's an opt. If it's another spell, they get the birds. Opted to the bottom. The birds are coming back. And to the bottom again. They're digging. Do they have a shock? They have another Arclight. Oh my. They're going to triple attack down Liliana the Dreadhorde General. Oh my goodness. And then the race is certainly afoot because they have 9 power in the air. Wait a minute. That's my face. They're going face. They're relentless. My goodness. Okay. How do we answer? Do we go face? What do we have? 9 power of attacking face? Liliana can mine us. We can each sacrifice 2 things. Can draw 2 cards. Oh my goodness. Well, that certainly can swing a race. Think, think, think. I think what I want to do is attack my opponent minus Liliana. So I draw 2 cards, sacrifice this, and then enter the God Eternals and make a new 4/4. Maybe it's a little cute, but I think it's right. So how do I get my opponent to block? I probably go after the Saheeli. If I go face, they just take it. And I don't want their tokens here. And Deputy, you can go upstairs. All right. Let's see what happens. They'll block away their tokens, which means they're going to be sacrificing their Arclight Phoenixes, so they're going to need to be able to get them back yet again. If they do, they're in a good spot. All right, minus. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures.
Let's reduce the battle to shambles.
We'll get 2 cards. Excellent. Target here. Mill myself. Don't mill the opponent. If they get one more Arclight Phoenix, it could really shift things. Hold the bluff land. Say go. We milled another Deputy, which is really unfortunate. Did we already mill our Sorin? No, Sorin could still be a big game. Oh my gosh, a discovery. Can the opponent get the birds back again? It's kind of what their deck's designed to do. I won't be shocked by it, but I still think that forcing it's the right way to be. Oh no, not another Beacon Bolt. Not another Beacon Bolt. But we draw a card. Not the best card here. Come on, D-Sparks, where are you? Have I gotten rid of those? No, they're both in the bottom 20. Both these sparks are in the bottom 20. Come on.
Death is enlightening.
How frustrating. Go in face again, ignoring Liliana. Unmoored Ego. Crap, I need a way to kill these again. Can I do it? Perhaps I can. I don't think that Thought Erasure will be particularly useful. If I throw these at this and the opponent blocks with all again, that'd be a big mistake to make. And they do let it go.
Innovation knows no bounds.
All right.
I will return.
A little death never hurt anyone.
We gotta draw some good stuff, guys. And Liliana's gone, so I don't get anything from it. That was a mistake. But I guess I didn't have a choice. And there's a mountain in hand. All right, let's review. Saheeli, Saheeli, Saheeli. I guess I can look at the deck, too. Let's have a look at the deck. So there's 2 Finales of Promise, which is the other new card that this deck tries to take advantage of. There's 2 Goblin Electromancers, 3 Goblin Electromancers, 1 Crackling Drake. There is 1 Spell Pierce. All right, so all the Electromancers are there. 2 Crackling Drakes are there. 3 Saheelis. And 2 Finale of Promise. 1 Spell Pierce. All right, game 3. So get these out of the deck. The opponent might do some sideboard shaking of their own. Let's get you back. Thief of Sanity I don't think is ever going to connect. It's still really good if the opponent wants to Saheeli on time, though. The vetoes definitely don't make sense, I don't think. I mean, they can counter a Saheeli, that's about it. We could duress the Saheelis. And the Finale of Promise is another thing that might need to be countered because of the amount of value that they have. So maybe there is a different way to approach this matchup. I still think that getting the Teferis back in, though, is crucial. There was a lot of beacon bolting, wasn't there? How do I win this game? It has to be pretty much overwhelming value. Those beacon bolts are a big problem. It would help to draw that Unmoored Ego a lot sooner, too. I wonder if a time wipe to have an out against those tokens is a good play. It does look like... Yeah, the Mortifies aren't that good, right? No, they're not that good. So some duress and some vetoes would probably be better. Dealing with the Crackling Drake, I have kind of a lot of options there. Mortify is pretty weak. Maybe we'll go to 1. Maybe 1 Moment of Craving is enough, although I definitely don't want to let the Electromancer live. Maybe Sorin isn't right for this. I mean, what's it getting back? What's it really doing? Yeah, let's cut you. Alright, let's go. Game 3 for all the marbles against the emote spam of the century. Jeez, oh Pete's. When will CGB keep 7? The opponent mulliganed as well. Double Thought Erasure. Oh my goodness. A land to the bottom. The opponent scries to the bottom. Alright, we're in for what might be a handicap match. It might be a tough... We're both a little bit... we're in some trouble. Okay, let's see if the opponent can deal with the Thief of Sanity next turn. They have a Lightning Strike, a Chart a Course, and a Discovery. If I take the Lightning Strike, the Finale of Promise... Well, they're a little ways away from using it. Let's grab. Another land in the bin. Trying to keep from flooding out here. There's the island. Here's the chart. So the opponent didn't use Discovery, so they're relying on their top 3 draws, one of which was an Arclight Phoenix to deal with this. Let's see if they can do it. Hold on to your butts, it has to be a shock. They're thinking about it. Shock would be really automatic. Okay, they've been a Beacon Bolt. That Beacon Bolt is unfortunate. We get an... Ooh, a Spell Pierce. Yes, it's the only one in their deck. They won't see that coming. Let's also erase 2 Finales of Promise and a Crackling Drake. Oh my. Those Finale of Promise are going to be a big deal, but Spell Piercing it could be very good. The Crackling Drake we can deputize, so I guess I'll take one of the promises and plan to Spell Pierce the other, and hopefully our next hit can be a good one. If they next level us and play the Crackling Drake, we at least have Deputy. If they're playing around their own one of Spell Pierce, or my own. And they do go for the Drake. Wow. That's so gutsy. Lock that down. Are they playing around their own Spell Pierce now? Well, maybe. And we get a Saheeli. That could be good. A non-creature spell. A Discovery Dispersal is interesting too. Although there's not too much that we ever want to bounce from them. So I think it's the Saheeli. And let's see what happens. Hopefully, like, what I want my opponent to do is go for a finale. If they play land and then bring back Beacon Bolt, that's very bad. Yeah, let's give them some love. They played around their own Spell Pierce perfectly. Like, perfectly. Good job, opponent. You're a champion. Okay, we drew a land. That means Teferi can minus on the Drake and still hold up Spell Pierce. But if we pay 2 life for that, it's such a giveaway that we have the Spell Pierce. And the finale will get rid of the Thief and the Teferi then, which is really bad. So I still need to catch the finale, but I guess the Spell Pierce gets it. Not if the opponent has 1 more land, and they do it for 2. They might do it for 3. No, they would do it for 2. Oh well. Did our opponent bring in a negate?
Right on schedule.
Let's find out.
I'm not ready for this quite yet.
What you got? Our own Crackling Drake or our own Beacon Bolt. If we put the Beacon Bolt in their graveyard, they get to use it. I think that having it in my graveyard is interesting, but I only have 2 spells there. Same thing with Crackling Drake, though. But it's a really good threat. This is a tough choice. I think I picked the Bolt. Just give the opponent 1 less resource to attack my creatures with. Here's a radical idea. And they have the land. They're in good shape. They've figured out the Spell Pierce for sure. And here comes the finale. Nothing I can really do about it. And it means a bird is coming back too. It means 2 birds are coming back. This is all going very poorly. But good job. The opponent reading their own Spell Pierce was brilliant. Like, really brilliant. I'm kind of amazed that they were able to, that they did that. I don't know if I could have. At least I know I'm in trouble against a competent magician. Now I really wish I'd taken the Crackling Drake.
It's only a matter of time.
Can I get the birds into the graveyard? I might be able to divert them for a minute. I have to get them into the graveyard, though. And with a radical idea down there, it's very unlikely I can keep the opponent from bringing them back. I need an instant speed removal spell. So, let's see, I need to buy some time.
You've never seen anything like this.
Don't really want to discard the ego. So I'm hoping that the opponent goes for like a radical idea and I can pierce it. I would say I have not played the match well, but hopefully we can learn some things from it. Like, draw your D-Sparks. Maybe Unmoored Ego stays in the sideboard. It hasn't been good in these matches so far. Interesting. If the opponent shocks their own Arclight Phoenix here, then it avoids the, yeah. It avoids the life gain, which is a big problem. Kind of needed that. So what Thief of Sandy proved here in this game is that I am not as good at playing their deck as they are, and that's okay. I can live with it. Like I said, if we learn something from the match, that's good. A third bird. That's good. We'll make them show us that they can get it back. Make them pay 2. But they don't need to. All they need to do is have a third spell they can cast. But if they accidentally pay 2 and don't have the third spell, we can possibly, like, cheese another turn. Okay, so now our hope is that they don't have the 1 mana spell, but you see them grabbing their hand right away, and there it is. Yep. We already passed on our good games. I guess we'll just, in case anybody out there isn't sure what's happening, birds come back, can't block them, they attack, that's game. Maybe next time, friends. Maybe next time. I will say this, so looking back at the deck here in hindsight, there's some things I really want. I want some Lyras in the deck. I want some larger creature. Like, this Planeswalker spam isn't doing it for me. Yeah, not against decks like Phoenix. Now, how good, like how much Arclight Phoenix is out there, it wasn't a big part of the paper metagame, but it always seems to be lurking on Magic Arena. So you may definitely want some Lyras in the deck, and maybe some Seraphs of the Scales. Like, that's another card that was completely cut from this list that would be useful. Just not enough interaction up top, not enough exile. So we never drew D-Spark, that was a big pain. Anyway, that's just reflection on if you care about the Izzet Phoenix matchup. Adding things always requires removing something, which can make other matchups worse, so it's a balancing act. I hope you enjoyed the video, hope we learned some stuff. Thank you for watching, and I will, as always, see you in the next video.